This is Neil, our 9th orphaned pangolin baby. Neil was born in captivity on the bushmeat table, and I was called. I dashed down there and rescued him. I was the one that removed his umbilical cord, and we've been feeding him on special formula. He's about 4 months old now. Neil, does that taste like food? How many people in the world have had their ear nuzzled by a pangolin? I feel lucky and I feel special. From when I was a very young child, I have always been interested in animals. So it wasn't very surprising that I became a veterinarian because I wanted to help animals. Also, I'm a wildlife conservationist. I rescue wildlife, rehabilitate, and release back to nature. And then in the process of growing up, I have come to realize that we have this very, very horrific attitude to the animals around us. Every animal is bushmeat. So instead of complaining about the situation, I wanted to try to cause a difference. And what better place to go to see these victims of the wildlife trade than the bushmeat market? The first time I visited the bushmeat market, nothing prepared me for what I saw. Table full of animals, different species that I didn't know we had in Nigeria, species that I had not seen alive. To see them dead on the table, it was a horrible experience, and I would always remember it till today. It breaks me every time seeing them like this and the horrible way they died. This guy is just beginning to start his life. He has a long way to go. In going to the bushmeat market, I realized that you see some live animals that can be rescued. When I started, I did not discriminate. Any animal in need, I get. But along the line, in one of my visits, I came across a strange creature. From the description of it, I quickly checked online and, whoa, pangolins. You mean we have pangolins here in Nigeria? I didn't know. The day I saw my first pangolin, I knew I was sold. And then by the time I got to know their status as threatened with extinction, I knew that something would have to be done to ensure that these lovely creatures do not go extinct in my time. Once you see a pangolin and you look into the eyes of a pangolin, you are caught up in pangolins. So how do you look into these eyes and turn your back on him? A lot of people do not know about pangolins, but it is the most widely traded mammal. Because of the interest in the pangolin for their scales, you have hunters that go into the bush exclusively for pangolins, to look for pangolins. So right now on the bushmeat table, you get average of 7, 9 pangolins every day. And that's what you see on the table. They are traded openly despite their CITES 1 protection level. The law enforcement do not even know about it, and this thing continues unabated. Convincing the bushmeat sellers, the hunters, the traders to let go is not a very easy thing, because once they have this animal, all they think of is money. Sadly, once in a while, it comes to that, especially when I see an animal and I say, look, I am going with this animal, I do whatever it takes. Okay, so adult female, 1.784. Adult male, about a year old. 1 inch gash on the right side of the head. One thing I found about the pangolin is a paucity of information. Very little on the white-bellied pangolin that we have here in Nigeria. So it has had to be more like learning on the job, trial by error. It's been very, very traumatic. I have come to learn that they don't do very well in captivity. When you get them, you rehabilitate, rehydrate, but you want to release as soon as possible. Lufasi is a protected park, and they have graciously granted me space. So what I did was to fence a portion of nature with the trees, anthills, good feeding sites for pangolins. So what we do is, after rescue or rehabilitation in the hospital, we bring to the rehab center and then we release them there. And it's actually the first of its kind in West Africa, and we're very proud to be at the forefront of pangolin rescue and rehabilitation in West Africa. Now, Sharon, I want to ask you something. What is the pangolin covered with?
Pangolins are covered with scales.
Yes.
And the scales are like the fingernails in our hands.
Some people believe that when they eat the scales, it will heal them and get them well. Do you think it makes sense?
No.
If somebody is sick and they eat the fingernails, do you think they'll get well?
No.
Why? It doesn't make sense, right?
Yes.
The most exciting thing for me in my rescue work is the point of release. It is almost spiritual for me. You get this heightened sense of accomplishment. You have assisted nature. You have taken something that was supposed to die due to the destructive activities of man, and you have successfully released back into nature. I might not be able to save all the animals in the world, but for this animal that I have saved and released back to the wild, it's the world to the animal. There's a tradition, a culture in Nigeria that refers to pangolins as idiots. They are not idiots. If only people knew how wise these guys are. One of the challenges is ignorance. People have the wrong information, misinformation. And what I have come to do is education. If we don't take care of these guys and they go extinct, the ant population is going to explode. One very, very interesting part of my work is what I'll call the pangolin orphanage. Lots of these pangolins, the females, they give birth in captivity. And at this point, they are usually very stressed, very weak. They usually don't make it. But these babies that are born, they are practically useless to the bushmeat sellers. So I have come to an arrangement with them. Whenever they have a newborn, they call me. Their reproduction rate is very, very slow. You get one pangolin pup being born every 18 months. The rate of removal is way higher than the rate of replacement. We have a very short window to fight this decline of pangolins. If we do not conserve our natural resources, if we do not save these animals around us, it's humanity that will suffer. When you save these animals, you're actually saving humanity. If we kill off all these animals, it will just be you and I looking at our ugly faces. It's not palatable.